Oswestry Rural Youth Church was created about 3 years ago by two members of clergy who realised that after confirmation there wasn't really anything for the young people in the rural areas. We're creating an event for our young people to come to that's going to be kind of focused on the persecuted church in the style of a wide game. It looks quite easy, but there's lots of thorns in there, so the young people are going to love me.
Very simply, everyone in your team needs to get one of these packs, bring it back to base.
We found one so far, but we know where two are over there. We're just waiting for them to leave and get one.
It's going well. There's a lot of noise, but we know that they've got one pack because it's disappeared. I know where it was. But now I think they're trying to avoid us in the trees.
The people that are catching them are a team of volunteers.
She's got her hands up again.
But I do actually know of Christians who've been in the woods trying to evade capture. Iranian Christians, yeah. I know them personally. So yes, it's quite meaningful actually. For them it's not a game at all. No.
You've all been cut. If this was in somewhere like North Korea, you would all be arrested, you would be sent to a labour camp, but you'd be expected to do a task.
This is meaningless. No, yeah, that's the point of it.
For Christians.
No, do you know when...
Cheeky Christians.
What I would like you to do is to transfer all of the baked beans there into the bowl there.
When they're there, once that activity's done, or during that activity, they're going to be told a true story about a persecuted Christian in Korea, Morocco, where there are rules and regulations on Bibles and who can have them and in what language and tradition.
The second worst country to be a Christian in is Afghanistan.
Unbelievers must keep their faith completely secret. Afghanistan is a tribal society and loyalty to your family, clan and tribe is incredibly important.
Okay, so you are going to be...
They were getting good numbers of young people coming to church up to the age of 11. They were turning up for messy church and they were seeing them in the schools, but when they went to secondary schools, which were spread across the area, there was a sort of a drop-off in contact, and so some of the churches were quite small and didn't have the resources to do their own work, but there was a real sense that if people collaborated together, we could do something more. It all happened faster than people expected, so we had great support from the diocese with, I think, around £50,000 grant, and we matched that money quite quickly actually. So what we thought might take a couple of years came together in about a year to get the funding together.
So they're different to the Hodnet Deanery and the Rockwoodine Deanery in that Matt's only been in post since September 2018, whereas Hodnet is on the back of perhaps 6 years or more. The previous incumbent there working with young people in like a cell church network, and Rockwoodine, I've been there now in post coming up to 5 years. So although it's part-time, we're a bit more established than Matt. I think with most churches we always expect perhaps a bit too much too soon, but actually Matt's done a great job of getting things going. Churches need to play the long game and realise that actually it's going to take 3 to 7 years before you really start to see the youth church take shape.
What we asked for was money to employ a full-time worker who could do a couple of things. And one of those was to reach out to young people who were at the point maybe of moving on from church and to work with them in a way which stimulates their faith, helps them to think about it, to make choices about it with their peers in safe spaces. So that's part of the work. The other side is building a team of volunteers. If you're going to sustain a work like this in a rural area, it's early days and we're just trying to find a process which works for volunteers who may be already quite committed, but also other people who haven't yet heard the call to join the kind of workforce.
They seem to have really enjoyed it, and actually for us being able to kind of share a little bit about persecuted churches and to give Bibles out to young people who probably haven't got a Bible in their house. When they do open it and they see it, or they're drawing, they just highlight over a certain word, it'll just spark something. And hopefully we've just planted all those seeds. And even with those young people who are church, a word will spark them that they've not thought about before.